Warning: some stories may be disturbing for some audiences. Viewer discretion advised. Welcome, thank you for coming. Subscribe and like for more stories. What's your revenge on a cheating spouse? So here's mine's. I found out from a friend that another guy was driving my car while I'm working. So the next morning I got up to go into work, but went to my friend's house to set the trap. I borrowed his car, and waited at my apartment complex parking lot. About 1 hour later he exits my apartment, and into my car. I followed, and called 911 to report my car stolen. Told them that I was following the person so it wasn't hard for the cops to catch him. So when the police pulled him over, keep in mind that I'm there too, and I'm on the phone with my ex telling her someone stole my car. But don't worry because the police have him in custody. He proceeds to tell the police that he is promising from my ex to use the car, so the police calls her, and she denies knowing the guy. Lol. So yeah, he got locked up, and I moved out the same day. My spouse cheated on me 25 times that I know about. How do I know this? Because she made a list of 28 names, with dates, and locations. I was number 3, and all 25 after me were while we were actively married. Granted, I knew she had been cheating. I was deployed 3 separate times between all of them. To say it was a toxic relationship was an understatement. I had a child with her, and so I stayed. The last person I actually caught her with in my bed was from my church. She always said if I didn't do, and her excuse, then she wouldn't cheat. I didn't even want revenge. I just wanted my kids, and I to be happy. So when I caught her I just said, "You're done." And with the other man still in my bed she said, "If you leave me I'll kill myself." Normally I'd say, "Please baby don't. It's not worth it." This time I just said, "Bye." Ever since then I've gained full custody of my 2 beautiful children, and I couldn't be more happy. So my revenge was just finally being happy, honestly. While moving out I didn't want to be destructive, or petty, but my sister was helping me, and she sure did. I didn't let her destroy any of his video games, or DVDs, but he has minor OCD about them, so she opened all of them, and put the discs all back in random cases, then put them all back on the shelf in random order. Then she hid a pair of thong panties in his bed for his mistress to find. And there was a disposable camera from I can't remember what that had a few pictures left on it. If he ever gets in developed, he will be greeted by the sight of her butthole. My family is the best. Living life well, and eventual forgiveness. I went to pick up the last few things from her house. She had just started a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, so I stole a single piece. She cheated, and then left town to go back to the base we were both stationed at before we both left active duty. After I filed for divorce, I rented a storage container, put her stuff in it, and paid for 1 month of storage, and mailed her a key, and said she had 1 month to come and get it, or it would be auctioned off. One of the boxes had a layer of her stuff she really wanted, 1 layer of every picture, note she sent me, mementos, and our wedding album, and then another layer of more of her stuff. I then found out what day she was coming to get the stuff from one of our mutual friends. The night before, I drove back to our old base, and hung out with friends. The day she came to pick up her stuff she called me, and asked if we could meet to talk about things. I told her no, since I was in her town, not mine, and that we never needed to speak again. Only time I've ever purposely made someone cry. I don't regret it. Edit. Forgot the word in. When I found out my ex-wife was cheating, we had a long talk, and she was sorry blah blah. I told her I needed a couple of days to think. After a day, or 2, I told her that I would forgive her under one condition: she had to find me a woman to sleep with to make us even. After about a week she arranged for a friend of hers, and I to meet for the weekend. I banged her all weekend, and when the ex went to work on Monday, I moved all my stuff, and myself out, and divorced her. She cheated on me at least 5 times with random dudes. I stayed for my beautiful, wonderful stepchildren. She eventually left me for some guy who got out of prison for child pornography. She's still with him, but it turns out laws on where sex offenders live are pretty strict in most states. I've gotten her evicted from her home 4 times, and counting. My kids are with their grandma because I have no legal rights, but at least I know they are safe. It's sort of a hobby. That is pretty awesome. I have to say I am a bit shocked she let the guy go to jail knowing she was basically busted. Damn, you just definitely made a dent on that guy's life. Grand Theft Auto follows you around forever. He'll never be allowed to buy a handgun in the United States, and the fines and court fees are super expensive too. The best revenge was success. I decided I wasn't going to fall into turmoil like I had before, and instead kept my crap tight, started applying to jobs a bit higher than my league, got one, moved away, and recently bought an engagement ring for someone worthwhile. Also, therapy. Instead of falling apart, I put myself together. Not my spouse, but I had a girlfriend cheat on me, so I screwed two of her friends. Her sister lol. I remember one of my buddies, as a joke to get back at his ex, decided to buy using her credit card 50 packs of extra small condoms online, and have it sent to their front door, the obvious joke being that her new fling had a small dick, and couldn't satisfy her as much. She ended up calling the police on him because of this, and he ended up being forced to pay $5,000 in damages. Let them have the house, but put shrimp shells with a little bit of meat in them inside of the curtain rods. I found another partner, and we are happy, and engaged. I don't care what my ex is doing, or thinking about me. I still have bad feelings towards her, and hate her guts, but I'm progressing on that as well. It takes time. It was explained to me when I was in, that if you're stationed overseas, with a spouse, and get divorced, the military will pay for their ticket back home for up to 1 year after the papers are signed. I was in Guam, and the guy on my boat that my ex cheated on me with had to have back surgery in Hawaii. I found out that she went with him, so I would immediately run to the JAG, and let them know, and he literally high-fived me that we didn't have to pay for that annoying girl-ass flight. Flights to, and from Guam are expensive AF. I screwed her other boyfriend. I'm sorry, but it's hard not to think of revenge when you've invested so much in a relationship lol. Well, apparently mine was too fake. An attempt to reconcile with her, make her do things like cut off contact with the ex, be honest with me, and tell me the entire extent of the affair, tell her parents as they thought I was beating her all the time, cut off contact with anybody else who encouraged, or knew about the affair, and didn't tell me. When I realized that I basically had to force her kicking and screaming to do these kind of things, I decided that I needed to work on me more than I needed to force somebody to do something they didn't want to do. However, since leaving, she has actually started to make an effort. I'm currently the belief so that I need some time by myself, so it's not an option getting back together. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.